Hi, I'm Christina for Bookroom Dreams and welcome to a new video. Today I will be discussing the four book club books that I read in the end of 2002. I know I'm a bit late, but here we are, so let's just get into it. First, we have My Sister the Serial Killer. We have a story about a couple of sisters, Ayola and Korede. Korede is a nurse who helps her sister clean up murder scenes where Ayola kind of kills people, claiming that she had some really good motive to do it or doesn't remember, and it's just it is what the title literally says. There's nothing more to it. It is set in Lagos, and I found the whole atmosphere really interesting. The depiction of society, the depiction of how beauty can sometimes how do you say be an excuse or lead other people to find excuses for the actions of the person who is deemed to be beautiful. There's also talk of childhood trauma. There's just a lot of things are mentioned, not really delved into deeply, but there are a lot of themes throughout. I found it to be quite interesting. I read it really fast, but I found it to be very, 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 very frustrating because I just couldn't get on Korede's train of excuses for her sister and how she kind of explained why she does what she does and why her sister does what she does, and I just wasn't buying it. I was just very frustrated by everything. So maybe not a good reading experience, but an interesting one. Then we have The Only Good Indians. Maybe my sigh is the best thing you can get from what I think about this book. I can't say that it is written poorly. I think it was just written for a certain audience, and I am absolutely not that audience, and I just couldn't get on with the writing. I felt like the twists, like the whole idea was so unbelievable, and so like even in a sense of the sense of like mystical and magical elements happening in the book just felt so ridiculous, and feel really bad for thinking that about the book because I know a lot of people liked it, but I just think just the pace of the book felt so wrong. The moment it actually got interesting, where I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. Now I'm in it. This is where something's gonna happen. And then it just kind of all fell apart because it stopped right there and it just moved on. And I can't even I'm in the park of people who just couldn't vibe with. I'm even not sure if I would pick up Stephen Graham Jones, even the shorter books, because the writing style just, oh, I don't know, I think it just killed me. I just couldn't vibe with it. Then we have Senlin Ascends. So this is the book one of Book of Babel. Books of Babel? Books of Babel. And it is a story about Senlin and Maria who come to their honeymoon to the Tower of Babel. And this is like a tower, and each layer has like its own function. And I literally considered DNFing this book at like not even 30%. It felt so slow, so boring. The most interesting character was Maria, and what happens here is Maria kind of gets lost, and Senlin goes on to try to find her, and we're actually following him as he's going through the different layers of the tower, different floors, to find her. Certain aspects were very interesting, but like in the beginning I was like so bored, but I pushed through. And then it got to a part where it was really interesting, where Senlin finally, I mean, he is like a teacher from a small town. I think it's actually really well represented, like that type of character, like what you would assume a small town teacher acts like. So it's nothing like, he's not heroic, he's not like the hero, like in most fantasies. He's just this like regular guy who happens to be in a really shitty situation, and he's trying to resolve it. And in the end, I actually quite like the book, and reading from the synopsis of the second book, I really am interested to continue on with the series. I will say, the book itself, the atmosphere, the descriptions, the whole world is absolutely fascinating, very cinematic. I think it would be perfect for a TV show. Actually, TV show, because like each layer has its own intricacies and everything, and it would be perfect. Like, I would really like to see it on the screen. But yeah, I actually would like to continue this. And finally, we have Contact, an anthology of creation SF. So, I really, 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 really like this collection of novellas, short stories. I was absolutely amazed by what our creation authors are writing and doing, because it was just not until last year that I was introduced to SF and fantasy creation authors, and I don't I never tried to find them, and I'm just discovering them now, and I'm so happy to see that there's so much talent there. In this particular anthology, we have so many different things, SF, like true SF on other planets, just SF elements in our world. We have a bit of fantasy. We have some mystical stories, fairy tale based on fairy tales, based on myths, and some stories were just very weird. Some were too philosophical for me, but the ones that were good were just absolutely fantastic. Some of the best things I've ever read. So I'll just tell you what my favorites are. So we have first The Corridor by Darko Mason, which is just like a story about a guy who is in a corridor behind a door, and he starts talking to the person on the other side of the door who is the enemy, and you're not supposed to talk to them. And I don't know if it was intended or not, but I saw so many social commentary in that story, and just I loved just this atmosphere of kind of getting to know your enemy, and the twist in the end was just so good. It made me think, did I even understand the story well, or is it something completely different? It just made me think even more, and absolutely love that. Then we have The Dead by Alexander Zhilyak, which is basically a story about zombie enslavement, and in some form of almost like internment camps, and it was very haunting, very scary. It felt very now, in the sense what's happening with society, where we're going, how tolerance is being, although pushed forward and to the fore, it's still, there's a lot of, at least in Croatia, there's still a lot of hate and non-tolerance, and just it felt really distressing and disturbing, but good at the same time. And finally, we have The Executed by Zoran Krušvar, which was, I don't even know how to describe this one. This was an absolute shocker of an ending. The moral, social implications, themes in there. It's a story about a guy who is like the executor of God's will and goes around different villages and kind of settles disputes. But throughout the story, you get to see, is he actually good? Is he evil? How would you reach a judgment in certain, like in certain cases, how much power he has as the executor, and all of that is mixed in with some alien fantastical element, and just mind-blowing. Absolutely fabulous. That is it for this video. I hope I made some sense. I've kind of forgotten how to do this lately, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will keep on watching Maya's videos. And please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye!